Well, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we have a guest on from the Better Business Bureau, and it's a name I'm sure you've heard of, but it's become kind of in the background compared to all the other reviewing sites there are now. But we have a guest on today, Cheryl Reichert, and she's going to tell us all about it. And you oversee it's called the San Diego, Orange, and Imperial Counties Division. You're the president and CEO of that division. I'd like to welcome you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So first of all, tell me the background. Let's start how the Better Business Bureau got started many years ago.
Sure. Well, people say, great organization, what do you guys do again? And
Exactly.
We're actually more than 100 years old. We
Yeah.
got started at an advertising club meeting where the guy from Coca-Cola, a marketing guy, was actually frustrated that they won a case in court saying that lying in advertising is okay. Their lies in advertising were okay because everyone's doing it.
Right.
So it's not a problem, it's generally accepted. Well, the media community, the advertising community decided that's not okay because then we can't be effective. So they created this symbol and they said, if you put this symbol in your newspaper advertising, we'll know that you're telling the truth. And that marks you as one of the good guys. And so they formed a club, and if you didn't tell the truth in your advertising, you were kicked out of the club. And that's the BBB today. We're a club, we're local businesses. We started at the local ad club, and we've now grown into, we're more than 7,500 members here in Orange, San Diego, and Imperial counties. And as you know, how we judge businesses has grown over the years. It's not just whether you're truthful in advertising, although that's one of our standards.
Right.
It's responding to complaints and operating legally and making sure you don't have any government actions against you. So we really monitor businesses in the local community.
Yeah, and you do. And I know this for myself when I did some work on our home, had a contractor, and I did look at the Yelp ratings first.
Good.
Because nowadays that's what you do.
Good.
However, knowing that people can, be asked, give us a favorable review and that kind of stuff, I went to the Better Business Bureau, and I had not used that service in a long, long time to see if this company had any complaints about them. They did not, and I kind of went with them. And that kind of says where the Better Business Bureau is today, because I think the first point of contact for a lot of people nowadays is Yelp, Angie's List, that sort of thing. So how do you differ? I think we know Yelp because anybody can put anything they want and complain or build it up anyway, and you got to take that with a grain of salt. Let's face it.
I appreciate the question very much because a lot of people who talk to me, who meet me, see Yelp and Angie's List and these other sites as competitors, these review sites, and I think they've been fuel for our engine. People who go online to look up reviews or look for another opinion generally don't just check with one site. BBB, having the reputation that we do, we've earned it because we verify. So when someone files a complaint with BBB, we make sure that there's been a relationship between the consumer and business. It can't be a cousin or an uncle or a vendor or a competitor. It has to be someone who's actually done business with the company. And it's the same for reviews. We allow people to review businesses on our site, to say good things, but we make sure there's been some sort of interaction, and we always allow the company to respond before we post that interaction. So if the company says we've never done business with them, it's not a complaint we'll take. We process more than 3,000 complaints a month.
Wow.
So I think when people go online and search, they go to their traditional familiar search engines.
Yes, of course.
But when they go on Google to look up their engine, they oftentimes find the Better Business Bureau, and that institution of trust is still driving people to say, you know what, I should check them out too. We rate every company in the marketplace, not just our accredited businesses.
Oh, you do?
On an A+ to F scale. So those F-rated businesses, we don't want you using them.
So how do businesses, and you brought up, you just said something there that I kind of want to get into.
Sure.
Are certain businesses members of the Better Business Bureau? And if they are not members, does that mean they're a bad business or they have just not signed up with you folks?
Thank you for asking the difference, because we have a difference between our ratings and our accreditation. So grading companies on an A+ to F scale is based significantly on their complaint track record. We've got a lot of companies that have earned an F from us, and we want you to stay away from those guys. They've got government actions against them, they're operating illegally, they're not responding to consumers when they have complaints. There are a lot of A+ rated companies that are not accredited or members of the
Okay.
Better Business Bureau. Still good companies, they've got an A+, but when a company agrees to be a member or is accredited by us, we check them out a little more thoroughly.
Okay.
We make sure, for example, they're following privacy laws in the state of California, but I think one of the biggest benefits is they sign up for free binding arbitration. So if you have a problem with a construction guy, or a roofer or an electrician, and you can't get it resolved, we'll bring in a third-party arbitrator that will listen to both sides and make a decision for you that's binding in a court of law.
Okay.
So it's a way to avoid the legal expense and know you're getting a good guy that's gone through that extra vetting process.
Okay. How do you folks earn money? I know you're nonprofit, but you still have to have income coming in to operate.
We're still a membership organization.
Okay.
So people think of us as BBB nationwide because it's such a well-known, trusted brand. But San Diego, Orange, and Imperial counties, we're actually our own not-for-profit organization of members, and those members pay an annual fee. So those
Okay.
businesses that are accredited, and you have to be accredited, you have to agree to binding arbitration to be a member of our organization. So membership fees are our exclusive source of revenue. We're really businesses banding together to try to keep trust in the marketplace so people will be comfortable spending their dollars with businesses they know they can trust.
Have you ever had to disassociate one of the businesses?
Every single month. We call it revoking
Really?
accredited
Okay.
businesses. So when a business doesn't respond to a complaint, if they
Okay.
have a government action against them, if they lose their license, we will revoke their accreditation. And those members go before the board every single month, and the board decides to kick them out. And sometimes we've got a guy that feels like they deserve to be in, we still want to kick them out. So they get to sit before the board, and the board
Okay.
acts as jury. And the board actually decides who's in and who's out of the organization.
Okay, and it's good to know too, on the side of the business, a lot of people's complaints, they may think they have a complaint, or it may be something that once you folks get into it and do the arbitration, you look at it and like, well, there's really nothing here. And you got to be fair to the business as well.
Well,
Let's
you know,
face it.
we're
a lot of them are small, family owned.
Right. BBB doesn't actually decide who's right and who's wrong. We're the impartial third party. So most of the time when a consumer complains, the business fixes it.
Okay.
And sometimes the consumer's the bad guy and
That's
not
true.
the business.
Yes.
So, that's the company's opportunity to respond. But every once in a while, when you get those disputes that we need to bring in an arbitrator, it's a third party trained volunteer arbitrator that listens to both sides and makes a decision. And sometimes you just have a consumer in a business that just can't
They
come
don't
to
gel.
terms, right? And
Yeah.
and so it's a really helpful resource.
You mentioned about Better Business Bureau they are nationwide, am I right?
Yes.
Is each division, or whatever you want to call it, like yours, are you a member of the nationwide, but you operate independently? Yeah.
We are all independent associations.
Okay.
There are 126 of us. So to get us together is like herding cats. But in order to represent that BBB seal, which is a brand, we have to adhere to
You have
standards.
to do the same thing the businesses have to do.
Exactly right,
Yeah.
exactly right. And we've actually revoked entire BBBs, taken away their
Wow.
ability to represent that brand, and then had other BBBs go into that marketplace.
Very interesting.
Yes.
And tell me the first step. If someone, they're looking for a contractor or whatever, I imagine you do all kinds of businesses. I don't know if you
Right.
do restaurants like Yelp does.
We
but,
do. We do every kind of
If
business.
someone says, I'm thinking of getting this done, how do they get into it's bbb.org/SDOC, but do they have to become a member? Do I, as a consumer, have to pay a fee?
Anyone can use
Okay.
our services at any time.
Okay, so
to
it's not like
see-
Angie's List, which you have to pay to become a member.
No, we
Okay.
want you to know our
Okay.
opinion of a company. That's part of our values. So
Mm-hmm.
go to bbb.org, you enter in your zip code. If you're looking for a plumber, you can find out which ones are accredited
Great.
and are close to you. We even have an e-quote system where if you're looking to buy some tires for your car,
Oh,
you can
really?
enter in what type of tires you want
That's great.
and click on the 10 accredited businesses closest to you and ask them to email you quotes.
That's fantastic. It's good to know that you're still around, and as I said, I think many people don't think of the Better Business Bureau first anymore.
Got millions of people just coming to our website
Yeah,
every
and that's
year.
great.
Yeah.
It's really good. And as I said, I used it when I was looking for ours, I went on the Yelp ratings first because that's what popped up. The guy had great Yelp ratings, but you never know.
Use more than one.
And you should.
Yeah,
and then I went
great.
on the Better Business Bureau because I didn't want to pay Angie's List. I'm cheap.
There you go.
But this is free, and that's what's fantastic.
It's a good resource, and it's verified information, so that helps as well.
It was been a great meeting you.
Very nice
Great
meeting you.
information. It's good to hear that Better Business Bureau is still, you're a partnership between the business and the consumer. That's really what you are.
We are.
And to make everything work smoothly between the different parties.
Well, the online is the new Wild West. 100 years
Yes.
ago, it was the newspaper, but there's a lot of misbehavior going
There
on
is.
online, and BBB's as relevant as ever.
No
So we'd
question.
like to hear from you if you've been harmed.
All right. Thank you very much. And Cheryl, thank you for coming up today. I know your office is located.
I'm in San Diego,
You're in San Diego, but
we
there's-
do have an office in
Yes,
Orange
you do.
County to hear arbitrations.
Yeah, very good. The website's easybbb.org. If you forget that, just do Better Business Bureau, San Diego, or Orange County, and it'll come up. So don't worry about that if you forget the website. And from there, you can get the number, and it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank
Good
you so
information.
much. Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.
There's a lot of great information online when you're trying to decide who to do business with. The information that we're providing is data based on what we've collected from consumers, from the government, from regulatory agencies, and we feed that back to you in detail, but also in the form of grade. Do you want subjective information or objective information? There's a lot of data that goes into the BBB's opinion about a company versus just a bunch of subjective thoughts from who knows who.